This presentation is made possible by these amazing individuals and organizations. Whether it was through Patreon, Super Chats, Super Stickers, or by watching, liking, and commenting, I really appreciate each and every one of you. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show today. I am Retro Nerd Girl, and I'm broadcasting live from the International Science Fiction Space Station, guys. I hope you're having a wonderful morning. I am struggling. I'm on the struggle bus, so maybe you'll help me get through this. And it's just been having problems sleeping lately, insomnia. It is really so tough. But I think we have a lot of topics to cover this morning, and I can't wait to start having the conversation with you because some of the things that are happening now could be affecting us for the next few years. I mean, there's no way to really know, but it's a little bit interesting, maybe a little exciting, but also I'm concerned for a lot of people in the entertainment business. All right, so let me get a chance to see what is going on here, and um, I'm going to try to just concentrate on the messages that doesn't look like you guys are talking to each other, so I don't get everything mixed up in the show. I'm gonna try. That's gonna be hard. That's gonna be hard. So the first message up is from Brogu, who is the first message. Says RNG, the world is infected by negativity and negativity like zombies are infected, but your optimism and positivity is just the antidote needed to cure this virus. Wow. Thank you for being a beautiful soul, RNG. That's really sweet. Oh my God. That is really nice. Thank you. Um, that is very nice to hear. I'm trying. It's not always easy, but yes, I really do appreciate that. And that's exactly what um, I'm definitely shooting for. That's what I'm aiming for, to be, a place of positivity as much as possible, as much as possible. So thank you for noticing that my goals. Thank you for noticing my goals. Okay. And Keith E is here. Hello, Keith E says, well, they never cleaned all of those video games out of the lobby out there. I guess they're making a lot of money, still okay, ready to go. And I think you mean the video games from our excursion on Saturday with Tron, huh? Is that what you're talking about? Well, I hope you're doing well, and I hope Hooper is doing well, the resident hippopotamus. Um, Let's see, where's my I tried to start only the ones that look like it was general. And William Blake Hall is here, says Roger Keith, greeting RNG. Good morning in Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh anyway. Any idea what our topics will be? The news, basically whatever has been going on in entertainment news, is going to be our topics this morning. But first, I will be doing a small mini review of Secret War. Oh, sorry, Secret Invasion, um, a TV show that's on Disney Plus, and also I believe that will be episode 5. And I have some notes over here, so I'm gonna refer to them once I get started with the whole morning and everything. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Oh. Didn't mean to skip, but there's a Hungry Jerk. How are you, Hungry Jerk? Top of the morning to you all. Oh, great to see you, and I hope you're doing well. And Lord Top is here. Says haven't watched yet, but wanted to drop a like and a hail. Oh wow, that's really sweet of you. Thank you. I hope you'll be able to come back and compare notes. I hope I don't have it too wrong, because I know for myself it's nice to compare notes with other people who have seen the same thing you do, or you have, and then sometimes you'll find that some people enjoy things a lot differently than you do. So it that's always fun to see other people's points of view. At least that's how I feel it. Let's see. And let's see, trying to, and Unicorn Rampant Studio is here, says, good morning, everyone. It's so good to see you. And for some reason, I was thinking about you this morning. I was like, I wonder how Unicorn Rampant Studio is doing. You know why? Because I hit myself and it was like a crazy accident, and I just remembered that you had an accident not too long ago. And I was wondering how you were doing, like if you were all healed up and everything. So let us know how you're doing, because that was a pretty serious incident there. And I was like, wow, you never complain about it or anything. You're such a trooper. um, and let's see. And yes, Keith E is having some Siri problems this morning. Siri is definitely has her own mind. And let's see, lots of hellos going around. And let's see if I can um, people. Uh, you guys are chatting amongst yourself. Oh, this is sweet right here. And Keith E says, "Good morning, lords," and a leaping unicorn. It's really, it's really sweet. You guys, the things that you guys say is incredible. And of course, this morning I was able to let you guys know that I was flying in, and it was the flight pattern was very safe this morning and smooth. So, um, I'm so glad I was able to do it this morning because I forgot to do it the last time and it really was caused a lot of commotion. And William Blake Hall says all hailing frequencies are open, and for the International Science Fiction Space Station, and finally getting the name right. And it took some practice. It took some practice, but it's unique. And of course, we love to thank William Blake Hall for coming up with the name for the space station. My boss loves it, and we're going to keep it. And let's keep going. Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Keith E. It says, I hear you. I hear you. Great. Oh, gosh. Imagine. Imagine just talking for that long and not really knowing that you were silent. It's happened. Oh man. Yeah, let's see. Um, what happened? Oh gosh, I'm not gonna. Let's see. Oh, yes, to remind everybody, thank you for letting people know. It looks like Hungry Jerk tried to leave a message and there was some kind of weird thing. Unicorn Rampant Studio says there's an AI that flags comments about which is it is unsure. Yeah, I mean, the AI technology that's running, that's guarding, if you will, the chat is sometimes does its own thing. I honestly don't know what it's doing, but that's a great explanation for that. And even myself I was on another chat and I was typing in some stuff and it like totally erased what I said. And I was like, what did I say? To maybe like a combination of words it just didn't like that the way I grouped those words together. And so I was like, this is it was just the weirdest thing. Um, but yeah. Yes, and then Unicorn is saying then the wrenches can up or down sometimes. Thank you so much for explaining that, Unicorn. Very well said. Yes, and says, yes, I did get smashed up. I am very lucky. One doctor said he thought it was pure miracle that my thumb was going to heal. Oh, wow. Ooh, poor thing. Poor thing. Oh, man. And William Blake says thumbs up. And Unicorn Rampant Studio continues and says cracked ribs. Oh my God. And sternum have healed up nice. Oh my gosh, you really went through it. Um, and says my clavicle, which is attached to my shoulder, points up like a little demon horn on my shoulder, but otherwise I feel pretty good. Oh no. I'm so glad that like I said, you're such a trooper. You never complain about that, and you're always here being so uplifting and nice to everyone. Uh, William Blake Hall says, "Ouch! I didn't think I knew." Yeah, that I don't think. And Hungry Jerk says, "Hope you're doing better." And Unicorn says, "I was in the ER for 12 hours that day. I think it's the Wednesday morning talk." While oh no, yes, yes, I remember. It was really wild um, that morning because right in the middle of well, like towards the end, we didn't see you. Um, and yeah, I told the guys what was happening. Yes. Oh no. Yeah, where it says um uh I don't know. Oh, William Blake Hall says, "Wait, you have a boss?" Yes, yes, I have a boss. My boss is is a character. Let's just put it like that. A character in my story. I'm building my own world here. Unicorn Rampant Studio says, lasting nerve jam. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh my God. Lasting nerve damage in a couple of fingers will improve over time. Okay, could have been worse. Oh my God. That is so hard. Again, um, you're so strong. You just never complain or anything like that. And from what I was able to gather, you began like working immediately and doing everything. So like I said, definitely um, praying for a speedy recovery, and hope you are, continue your successful recovery. Let's put it that way. And thank you for always hanging out with us, and all the things that you do for the channel. Definitely appreciate that, but also your energy and spirit is much appreciated as well. And he goes on to say, and William Blake Hall says, "Bless our rhinoceros." Yes. Um, and Brogu says, "Wow, unicorn, crap ribs and sternum. You must be Chuck Norris, though. You must be Chuck Norris tough." Yes. And Unicorn Rampant Studio says, I did not damage my head, neck, or spine." Oh, wow. Um, and William Blake Hall says, "Very good luck there. Never want to mess with any of those." Um, oh, and says, "LOL, too afraid not to be vertical and working all the time." I hear you. So, you know, um, I hate being out. Like down. I hate I hate it so much. I mean, I have to get up and go. Um, Even if I'm not going anywhere, I just have to, like, I cannot like just lay in bed. That just it's brutal. Corn Rampant Studio says, "I also play guitar and use my hands and arms for everything. So I had to find out right way, whether that right away, or whether that was going to continue." Oh, wow. And you're an artist. So, yes, this is really important. Um, and William Blake Hall says, my legs need to be more horizontal. It's all in the adjustments." And oh, Astro 25 is here. Says, "Looking at the bright side, nice." I like the nice. It's like no, nice. And look at Unicorn Rabbit Studio. That's so sweet. Unicorn uh, gives us a $7 super chat and says, "Thanks for all your support, RNG and the chatters." Oh my goodness. And we have lots of nice little, emojis. We've got a rocket ship, a unicorn, a half moon, a star. We've got a dog, and we have like a puppy, and we get a heart. Well, thank you. Okay, in commemoration of the puppies, I do have a thank you, especially for you. See if I can find it. Ah, I love this one. Oh man, that was nice. Again, thank you very much for everything. You're amazing. And William Blake Hall says, "Well, many a boss can be called a character, right?" uh, but yes. Let's see. And William says, "Always look at the bright side of life. Whistle, whistle." Yes. Uh, and William Blake Hall says, "Chuck Norris ain't got nothing on Unicorn." Oh, yes. And it's you're again the modesty. Yes, please do know that if you do have any days where you are having any, pains or anything, definitely know that you have some friends here who are willing to listen, because you know, that is just what you've been through is just a lot. And William Blake Hall says, "Not sure how mobile you are, but would love to catch a movie." But oh, that is so sweet. You guys are so, you're gonna make me cry. Stop it. You're making me emotional now. Oh my gosh, that's right. You guys are in the same city, so that's really amazing. Uh, Keith, he says Hooper sold his unicycle. He said he did not want to end up. Oh, that's so sweet. um, and let's see. Um, Unicycles are really tough too. um, And Unicorn says, "Whoa, whoa, Neo and Pups," or is it woohoo, woohoo, or I thought you meant like whoa, because Neo, and and Hungry Jack says, "This hippo riding a unicycle goes into a bar." Um, what? Hold on a sec. When you hover over something, and then you see something really weird, that's what just happened to me. We're off the rails. We sure are. Let's get back on topic, guys. All right, so that's something I really wanted to talk to you guys about. Let's try to, as much as we can, stay on topic as possible during our little our conversations, and that will keep us in the safe zone. Um, um, we've got a alert here from Brogu. Brogu says, "Guys, just a word of warning: if you go to the movies, don't go to the Indiana Jones movie." Okay, it's a big warning. Uh, and let's see. Now, I do have a presentation for the morning show as usual. And I'm just going to upload this file and Um, there we are. I see it. I was editing this morning, and it was really intense as I was going through this. So I hope you'll enjoy this. Hold on one second. The allergies are on crazy this morning. So they're going nuts. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, I probably should have played the video uh, for the. I'm sure I'll get the opportunity to do it soon. So, okay, so here's my slide. The first thing up is Secret Invasion, Episode 5. Okay, um, Secret Invasion, Episode 5. I'm gonna do a quick little rundown review. I'm gonna try not to I'll do some light spoilers, guys, not too intense. Um, so the episode starts off um with Gravik, the bad guy. And what is really happening with this bad guy for me as a person who's watching this is that I'm losing sight of what this character really wants, because we thought at all this time he was motivated by um he was motivated by vengeance. And that felt really good. I was like, okay, yeah, yeah, I get it. And but now I am not sure. I thought it was vengeance against Nick Fury, but now I'm not sure if that's true or not, because he started to turn on his own people. All this time he's like, Skrulls are gonna rule the earth, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. He doesn't really care about that at all. He cares very little for that at all. Nobody, like, all the people around him are starting to see his mask come off. Like, we know that all the Skrulls have masks on, to pretend to look like humans, but even he has a mask in front of them, and they have just he's exposed now. Everybody knows that he is playing on his own team, and nobody trusts him in his own organization. So it's really interesting how um, we came away from like this character that was really developed. We understood where he was coming from. He lost his family in the battle against the Kree, and he was an orphan now. Nick Fury took him under his wings, sort of, kind of. Nick Fury was also using the Skrulls to gain intel and do odd jobs, like spy jobs, in order to grow within the ranks of um, of his organization. But while he was doing that, they were learning. At least Gravik was learning all about the Avengers, learning about their powers, learning about ways in which he could, um, gain access to, doing some really, incredible damage. So that's really what this series is kind of now turning the axis on, that whole idea of, like, we have this person who's upset at Nick Fury. No, 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 no. Something else is going on. And I'm not sure if I like it. I'm not sure if I like it at all, because I thought they had a nice track there. I thought I knew this character, and now I don't, right? And even if I don't know this character, what he's doing is really not making a lot of sense to me. And So I need them in the episode 6 to really pull it together and make this character make sense again. Because at this moment in time, I don't. I'm trying to figure out like, okay, well, the end game is not causing World War III. The end game is something totally different. All of this time, he's been dangling World War III as a method to gain access to a specific thing. And he has not been asking for it until final, like until now. And what they call it, um, it's a thing called the harvest. And basically, what it is, it's the blood of all of the Avengers during battle. So during battle, people have been going around collecting little, things, cleaning up the mess. They've also been collecting the blood of all of the Avengers, and so they've created this compound called the Harvest. Why would they do that? I just don't know. But they did it. And so it's also kind of um, it's another one of those details that maybe if you look close, you can't look too close of it to it because it is so um, convoluted and doesn't make sense. Why would they collect all of the blood of all of the Avengers and not do anything about it or just like leave it in the hands of one of their operatives? Even though he's really the best operative they've got, just leave it there. It's not in a lab being studied, it's not being destroyed. Perhaps you want to destroy something like that. Your most incredible asset to date, and you're like you've got this vial of this material that can be stolen, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So convoluted, yes. What I did like about the episode is that when you get to some of the other characters, you get more development, and that's cool. And it was a little bit more action oriented, this episode. Let's see. I see a message from Sean Holmes says, "Hi, Retro Nerd Girl. I guess you're asking Disney what Skrull Gravik wants. Yeah. What does he want? What is he doing? Why is he doing what he's doing? Always a very strong motivation for every character. And this is what causes people to like characters or feel connected to characters, even characters that are evil. There must be a thing that they want, even for like a bad character. They want to kill and cause destruction. And if that's their motivation, fine. It's at least a motivation. That's something that they like. It gives them a thrill. They get it's there. They get their rocks off on it. Fine. At least we have that. But when you have a character that's just sort of flailing, "Yeah, I'm just doing all this interesting stuff just to make things happen in a story," you don't feel like you know that character, and it puts the story away from you. You're like, now you see the story for what it is. It's pulled the veil off of um the immersion that you might have felt for the story. So it doesn't feel so important anymore because you don't know who the character is really. So, I mean, that's just a little story element piece that I feel that um, I think maybe they had a plan for him, and maybe they just were like, oh well, let's try to make it bigger than what it is. Just saying, that was a bad move. The actor is doing a wonderful job here, and let me just see if I can get the stats. I forgot his name, and I want to get these things handy for myself. Um, because he's really good, and I see him really taking off. After uh, this strike is over, he's really doing the most. Kingsley Ben Adir is his name. Very, very good job that he's doing. Um, and I hope that the script doesn't fail him any further. And like I said, if they can tie all of this up by episode 6, then uh, you know, I mean, maybe he might be the next big bad. You never know. Since they're having trouble with Kang, he could be the next bad. Let's see, what else do we have here? Um, so we've been seeing this image for the promotion of this series, and finally in this episode we get to see that this is indeed Gravik. And at some point during the episode, a whole bunch of the Skrulls from his camp have decided to attack him, but they don't. I'm not sure if they know that he has become a super Skrull, so he just takes out everybody. They had him, the element of surprise, and would have won, except for he has the advantage, and maybe he might not want everybody to have this power. Maybe it's something he only wants. Now, another thing he's done is that he has alerted the president of the United States that where the Skrull base is. Uh, he wants them. The reason why this base is in Russia, and specifically, is because he is trying to start World War III, or at least, one of his pieces of his plan is that he wants to start World War III, or dangle it as a carrot so he can get the harvest. I hope that makes sense, because if I'm having trouble explaining that to you, if you have that trouble, of figuring what I'm saying out, this is why the story is starting to fail. It's getting too convoluted, and that's actually not a good sign. Uh, so, wow, this character, Sonia, um, she is incredible. I am loving it. Her name is Sonia Fallsworth. The actress is Olivia Colman. Oh my God, she is knocking it out of the ballpark. She's just not to be trifled with, this lady, and does some things in this episode that's like, wow. And she does it with this smile. She's like, "Okay, let's talk about, like, how what a wonderful day." And meanwhile, she's just wrecking fools. Okay, wrecking fools, and it's just wonderful. I love seeing characters like this. Um, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with this character. I hope she makes it to the big screen, because she's really a juicy character. I hope they don't try to, like, and don't kill her off right away or anything like that. They need you know, she's a human lady, and she's got some military training. And she doesn't use it all the time, but when she's also very, um, she's like a female Nick Fury, working the for the British, you know, version of Nick Fury's organization. So I think she's a great complimentary character, and I loved everything that she had going on this particular episode. I could see people being upset at a comment that she said. One comment that the writers threw in there, but if you could ignore that and forgive them for 2 seconds, I think it will be fine. But she's doing the most. She is really doing the most. Brogu says she's one of the best characters on the show. I think so. I think she's really, like, raised the bar, and this is what I feel. I really this is me. You know me. I wish this episode was episode 2, right? Like set us all up and get us to here because I am like for all of the Disney Plus shows that I've seen so far, there's a lot of empty hamster wheel turning stuff. Like until we get to a moment of finally getting to like progress. And it it uh it serves very little purpose when you're trying to get eyeballs and you're trying to attract people. This should have been episode 2. I really do feel so. Like this should have been because especially since they're changing the bad guy's motivation, we should have knew this by episode 2. And then they did the same thing with this with Nick Fury as they did with Obi-Wan, but I think they did it better here where they kind of Nick Fury is still Nick Fury, but he's tired. He's exhausted. He's moving a little slower. But at the same time, in this episode, they have, Nick Fury go through like, "Hey, I'm back." It's just like that moment where he's like, "I'm back." Again, I would have loved that to happen in episode 2. Same thing with Obi-Wan, episode 2, where you've gone through, your dark night of the soul, and now you're back, right? And then we can get to some, butt kicking, and some serious booty kicking, and oh gosh, this is incredible. Like, um, I am loving Don Cheadle in this role, playing this really nasty character. He's doing it well. Okay, he's doing it well. I mean, I love every interaction he has with Samuel L. Jackson. The two of them together on screen is like it's really like it's like sound effects. It's really great to see them on screen together. There's so much um chemistry and fireworks and it's just great stuff. Great stuff. Um and I don't mind the talkie-talkie when they're doing it together, so, in fact, I don't mind any of the talkie-talkie, it's just that they need to make it be progressive, make it be some like, the move the story and move the needle along, a little bit more, and, Sean Holmes says, where did MCU's Skrull Gravik get the power to stretch his limbs?" Well, he has the power, of Groot. I believe that he was able to get from his Super Scroll machine at some point. In one of the earlier episodes, we did see a scientist work on that. And we see the scientist, Sonia, get to that scientist and wreck stuff up. Man, she was incredible. So that's how he got that ability, which I don't understand is why Gravik left that scientist alive, or why didn't he have them under lock and key? Brogu says, "I'm Nick Fury even when I'm out. I'm in." Yes, he's like, "I'm Nick Fury even when I'm out. I'm in." I like it. I really do. Just the really great work as far as the dialogue writing in this. And I don't know how much Samuel L. Jackson had to do with it, but he's just dynamite on screen. Um, and I really wish this was called Nick Fury or The Return of Nick Fury. Um, because and I know that like the secret invasion, all that stuff is part of something bigger, that they're leading up to, the Secret War um, movie that they're creating. But I think it is pretty cool. And says Unicorn Rabbit Studio says the Super Skrull powers are all 4 members of the Fantastic Four. Um, Oh, is that from uh is that from the books and from the comic books? Um, because and what it looks like now is that he's just using the. Do I have a picture of him? Let's see. Yeah, he's using Groot's power there. That's the power. That's the only power he's been able to use. Now, I did see a clip of him using, and I'm not even sure if it was him using the Hulk powers, like turning green and turning into the Hulk, like a version of the Hulk. So I don't know if they've even got the Fantastic Four in the MCU yet. That's the only, um, at least in this universe, right? Because it's a multiverse, and some universes have different things, um, different characters, like the X-Men and Fantastic Four are supposed to already be in this universe, but they're not. So um, William Blake Hall. I mean, we know why, right? That they're not is because they didn't have the rights to them yet, or there was some issues there. But it's just one of those things. That I think they're working on the Fantastic Four showing up. And William Blake calls us John Cheadle and Samuel L. Jackson together. First time I've become intrigued by this. Cheadle is one solid actor. Oh, he's amazing. Yes, he is amazing, and he's amazing in this. He really, as Rhodey, I never really paid attention to his work, and that's not his fault. It was just the material, the writing, what they gave him to do. But in this, he's actually playing a very unique character, and his Skrull, um, uh, uh, the person who he's playing is a female actually. A female Skrull has his um, uh, face, and so it's kind of interesting how he plays it, um, because there is that feminine aspect, but he's definitely playing it masculine too. So it's very interesting. I love anytime he's on screen. And Unicorn members, there's fire, invisibility, force field, rock skin, stretchiness. Um, and oh, Unicorn is coming in with the facts here. It's why the Fantastic Four not being included is so weird because there's nothing about the squirrels that doesn't involve this. Not I got you. The scrolls that doesn't involve the Fantastic Four. Yeah, and in this version, they haven't introduced the Fantastic Four yet, so they don't have any of their. They're using Groot. They did show a small, like if you blink, you would miss it. Um, Screenshot of um, the powers that they were able to get from the for the Super Scroll, like um, Matrix or whatever it is that they have going on. And Groot was one of them. And I'm not sure if there was another one um, that they mentioned. Um, and William says perhaps Rising Fury. Yeah, anything other, because the really the story is about Nick Fury coming back home to face this thing, this threat. And Unicorn Rapids, so yes, from the comic book. Thank you so much. It's really great because the there is a lot of things that are different from the comic books. I was doing a little research this week and I was like blown away by some of the stuff that I heard to do with different stories that the MCU has and is like completely wrecked. If I was a comic book reader, an avid one, I mean, I am a comic book reader, but I'm not an avid reader, and I definitely didn't follow the storyline for the Skrulls in MCU. So this is all new territory for me, but it's really, I would be kind of a little bit upset if it's changed things around so much. And Sean Holmes says, how are the MCU Skrulls able to stabilize extremists? Uh, since Iron Man 3, should it be unstable? Um, can you rephrase your question? I don't understand that at all. What is extremist? How are the MCU Skrulls able to stabilize extremists? And also, there is a special scientist that they're working with. So, and I don't know why she's working with them. And I believe there, she, she's not of. I think she's an alien. And Corn Rapids says, I see they really changed everything about the Skrulls. Yeah, they did, and I don't know why, but they wanted the Skrulls and they wanted them to fit in this universe, and and that's what's causing all the confusion. Because people are like, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. When are you bringing the Fantastic Four into the mix? And they've been just sitting on this for 5 years, pretty much. And Unicorn remember saying that they're substituting powers from heroes that are included in the MCU. Yeah, like Groot, which would have been probably like one of the easiest characters to do because he is an alien. But Groot never. I've never seen Groot use his powers the way Graphic is using them. Um, so it's kind of a strange thing. Not saying that he's doing it wrong or anything, but it just seems kind of weird. Uh, and Hungry Jerk says DC Comic needs to come out with Sergeant Rock movie fighting the Nazis. What? Definitely new information for me. I don't know anything about that character. And Sean Holmes says, how were the MCU Skrull able to stabilize? Uh, um, Oh, I think you asked this. Oh, okay. So I'm going to keep going down. I think you asked it again differently. William Blake also says, Unicorn, you've given me an idea. Squirrel Girl and the Skrulls. And Sean says, were the MCU Skrulls able to stabilize extremists since Iron Man 3 showed it to be unstable? Oh, yeah, I think they have a special scientist that's working with them. I don't know. I don't know. They're also aliens. They have different um they do things differently than humans. So they may have had the knowledge to be able to do it. And Corn Rampant Studio says in the comic the history of the Skrulls are introduced via the Fantastic Four title and the Kree introduced via the Avengers. Um, yeah, they totally switched everything around because they wanted to have Captain Marvel in the story, and so when you introduce Captain Marvel, you've got to introduce the Kree and they introduced the Skrulls too, and it was a big mess. And Unicorn Rampant Studio says, "Whoops! I always go off about these things that don't matter." No, it does because this is probably why a lot of people can't really connect with this story. Um, and William Blake Hall says, "That's why we're here." And maybe the Squirrel Girl from uh, SpongeBob and Super Scroll. Hey, probably that might work. And William Blake also says, "I'm sold on the official Squirrel Hill being smitten by Million Rain Trub." Um, let's see. I'm gonna scooch a little bit further down. Who going into territory is like, I don't know where we are. Unicorn Rapid Studio says, yes, I feel like they're doing uh what they're doing is cashing in on old feel good but silver age comics in the 80s and stuff, but they really are only using storylines from the last 10 or 15 years. Yeah, it could be possible because I think, the people in the writing room are relatively, um, are going to be relatively young. And because they're trying to appeal to a younger audience. And so it's hard to get that to have both worlds. And Unicorn Rabbitsuya says Silver Age comics are from the late 50s up to the end of the 60s. I just meant that in the 80s we really loved the Silver Age comics. And Sean Holmes says, sorry, the correct spelling for extremis is the drug which allows a person to upgrade or level up to Captain America's athletic abilities. You mean super serum? That's what we know it as around here. Super serum. Angry Jake says, Sergeant Rock, our army at war. Sergeant Rock, Our Army at War comics. Okay. Um, and Unicorn says also Weird Tales and Star Spangled War Stories. Brogu says, if I'm correct, I believe there is only one episode left. Have you been satisfied with the way they made the show? Yeah, so it's okay. It's okay. Um Um, it was good. The episode was really good. And so far the show is really good and not really uh not liking it. Um I'm liking it. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. She likes it. She likes it. Let's see if I can go back a little bit. And now I definitely have to get to the uh my little allergy thing because they're killing me today. If you don't mind, let me see if I can find it. I just end up dancing every time that happens. Okay, yes. So back to explaining things. Okay, so um, then we have this storyline with Gaia. Gaia comes back. So all this, I mean, we could have really used Gaia's help in the last episode. Okay, we really could have. Like, where the heck has she been? And she doesn't. She finds out that her dad died. How she got his body, I don't know, which they didn't explain. Uh, you think that uh, the government would have the body of an alien and not like use it for experimentation or whatever. Uh, this is really kind of annoying when we have this kind of writing. What I digress and move on. I'll digress. Like the details, the details. That's what's missing here. The details. It's like skim over comic book things, but what really makes it feel real is when you introduce realistic things to the story. Like, what would really happen if people discovered that there was an alien among us? What would and how would they act? How would they behave? And if this is not new for people in this universe, like why are we having this, why are we having this series in the first place? Like there has to be some um reality that we're feeling here. So anyway, she has his body. I don't know how. He was surrounded by military people. You think that they would like procure the body for experimentation, whatever, analyzing, whatever, what have you. She has his body, and she finds Priscilla and to do a burial for her father. So Gravik is dead. Not Gravik. Talos, her father, is dead. Like we're not going to see that character anymore. This is a permanent situation. I mean, this is, to me, I find it very, very good and refreshing for the series that they are putting to rest characters. They are not afraid to kill off a character. This is raising the stakes. This is very good. So this is where I'm like praising the episode definitely for for taking us there. This is a character that's gone. We're not going to see him come back. They like literally burn his body and do sort of a ritual. And these two kind of become like a little team. And why they don't stay together, I don't know why, but they go back to the house, to her house, and there's this huge attack because of course Gravik promised that he was going to have Priscilla killed, and they came to the house and they didn't attempt to kill her, and it's a great scene, the two of them fighting side by side, and getting rid of all of these bad guys. Very, very, very good. I did appreciate that. And it was it was definitely um exciting, very, very exciting. uh like I said, I really wish we had this like in like episode 3 or sometime earlier, uh just to get these characters together and get the story moving along, but I digress. um let's see. So there's a lot of stuff that this character is going through, Gaia. It's just showing how she's immature. She's not she still has a lot to learn. She's there she's got her own problems. So she's a brooding character. I mean, it's not really that much fun being around Gaia, but she, I, I'm I don't see she's a brooding character. Yeah, that's a great way to describe her because she has a lot on her mind. And of course, we should not expect her to be a happy-go-lucky character. She has been through a lot. She's lost now both her parents. She's alone in the world. The guy she was following for a long time, he's turned out to be a complete jerk. And she's definitely trying to rise to the occasion or do the right thing. She's trying to do the right thing. And William Blake Hall says, "Dag nabbit, where's my anti-allergy dart gun?" And yes, it's just so brutal this morning. All of a sudden, it just um it'll come and just surprise me. And Brooklyn says, "Life cereal, she likes it. She likes it." Yes. And Kurt Rampant Studio says, "Mikey will eat anything." Yeah. I used to love that commercial. He likes it. He likes it. Um, and Sean Holmes says the super soldier serum was an original drug that created Captain America. Extremis is the replacement serum. However, Extremis blew up everyone abusing. It blew up anyone abusing it in Iron Man 3, except for in Secret Invasion. Right, isn't that the drug where, I think Pepper Potts got her hands on some of it, or there was a guy, I fo Iron Man 3 is like a haze to me. It's kind of like a haze. You'd have to refresh my memory there, but, um, I they don't delve into it very deeply. Again, the details, and maybe that's the problem. So I don't have an answer for you, uh, because, I they didn't even they barely skimmed over the surface of any of the scientific portion of this. They had, a picture on a screen. They had a scientist. That's all we knew. And she was working on it, and then they found the way to make a super scroll, and then that's it. I don't and um I think when you're talking about stabilizing, they have a machine that people stand in the center of, and then this magical thing happens that they become uh super scrolls is what they're calling it. Like literally, that's the official title of the term is super scrolls, and you can't get any more simpler than that. Um, so yeah, I think that's maybe the problem of the story is that the a lot of these details you're asking is just it's glossed right over. We've got this reunion of Sonia and Nick, and you know what? I like these two together. There's a lot of chemistry. These two actors are just amazing together, and she's actually kind of in awe of him. Uh, it's really she's like at one point I was like I thought she was gonna girl over him, but um it was kind of nice seeing them work together, and I really hope that they do continue to work together because Nick really does well with a person with someone else. I mean, he does great by himself, but he definitely is really awesome working together with somebody. Love seeing Samuel L. Jackson play off of other great actors. That's another thing too. Having that dynamic with him and another actor, he's just great um, in that aspect as well. Oh, look, we have El Necron here. Haven't seen the new episode yet. Just wanted to stop by and say hi. Hello. How are you? Be seeing you later on today, right? We're doing an episode on drive-in movies. So that will be great. I hope you guys will be able to check us out later on today on El Necron's channel. And John Holmes says, Extremist it was a failed attempt to create Captain America's lost super soldiers serum, but it was a failure. Well, I don't know if you was able to check out the Captain America series on Disney Plus, the Captain America Winter Soldier series. They had a whole bunch of super serum that they had. I mean, it was supposed to be like, oh yeah, we lost it. They had a lot of it, and there was like a whole team of people with super soldier serum. So it's not so lost anymore. Uh, Unicorn Rapids Studio. No details though as to how. Yeah, no details as to how it was back. And Unicorn Rapids says, "Good job, Sean Holmes, getting us to our question." Yes, uh, of getting us to your question. Yes, and they're saying hello in the chat. And let's see. Yeah, so these two together, incredible. I hope that this means that moving forward, they are going to act as a team, actually going to help each other. She's got a lot of intel, a lot of resources, and I hope she also gets on the phone and tells the president of the United States, do not do anything because you're being manipulated. But I don't know if that's going to happen. But by the end of this, we've been seeing this image as a promo for the the series this whole time, and we finally also get to see it in this episode. It goes to sort of a I want to call it a mausoleum in the middle of a graveyard and or a cemetery, and he gets his eye patch and his jacket, and he's back. Nick Fury's back, and he's ready for action. And it's one of those like superhero moments, if you will, or if just a heroic moment where we know that our hero is back. And like I said, I would love to have seen that later on in earlier on in the series, um, and just not only in the interest of time, but also just to give us. I really want like I wanted two things. Things to speed up a little bit and more detail, more detail, more detail, more detail, um, because then I can answer Sean Holmes's questions. And I would have been like, yes, I can answer your questions. Oh no, wait a minute. Well, oh yes, 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 yes. Okay. All right. So my rating for this is 7.2. Um, it was good. Uh, they didn't need a whole lot of special effects, but what they used was great. Um, uh, I did have some criticisms about some things, but it doesn't really destroy the whole series. Um, and they have every opportunity to correct everything and clean up the story in episode 6. So we'll see that. I'm also guessing that there's going to be a big showdown, more showdowns, more big action scenes, and I don't mind, and I'm not even sure what the that will look like, but I'm looking forward to see what the finale will be. And only 6 episodes, this is a short one, and so uh, just wanted to let everybody know that this is not to be confused with Secret Wars Comic Run, which Unicorn Rampant Studio talked about last week, that there was a series. The series was conceived by Marvel Comics editor-in-chief Jim Shooter. The series was announced as Cosmic Champions in the 11th issue of Marvel Age News magazine, cover dated February 1984. So that's kind of the history of it. Let me see if I still have this wonderful video that I watched that was so good. Um, oh no, I don't think I have it. Oh no. Let's see. I have a couple of areas where I keep oh, okay. Yeah, you guys are gonna love this. If you don't know what the heck is going on, when it comes to, let's see if I can copy it. When it comes to comics and you're totally lost, but you want to enjoy a show or something like that, or you just want to know about something in general, just go to YouTube and type in whatever it is you're looking for. And usually someone has already gone through um, the painstaking process of reading and will completely talk to you through all um, of the storylines. Now, like I said, I love comics, but I don't read. I can't read them all because I have other, there's like other things that I like to do, and um, some people have gone into full detail on all this, and um, it is. Let me see if I can type this up really quick. This is for Brit. Okay, this is an excellent video that I watched. It is quite long, and you can put it on double speed if you really are like crunched for time. But it's a great video to explain everything about this um, this particular run and how good it is. I mean, it's a good storyline. There's nothing better than actually reading the comic book. Let's just please put that on the table first. There's nothing like going through the pages, seeing the artwork, appreciating it, and if that's something that you want to do, please do buy and pick up these comic books. You can I'm not sure where you can get these right now. Probably you can try Amazon or some other outlet that does sell them, and that's the preferred way. If you're crunched on time, you really have other things that you need to do. You can put this on while you're doing chores around the house and catch up on what we missed. And basically, the storyline goes like this: a cosmic entity, the Beyonder, becomes fascinated with Earth's superheroes in the mainstream Marvel universe. He creates Battle World, a planet in a distant galaxy, and stocks it with weapons and technology. He teleports groups of heroes and supervillains against their will to Battle World, declaring, "I am from beyond. Slay your enemies, and all that you desire will be yours. N- nothing you dream is uh, nothing you dream of is impossible for me to accomplish." So that's a pretty tempting thing. Like if you like, you know, you know, if somebody you died, you wanted to bring back the Beyonder. Look, that's what do you call? You tell the Beyonder, hey, I'll do that for you. Um, so yes, and thank you, Unicorn Rampant Studio, for talking last week. We learned from Unicorn that there was a difference between Secret Wars and Invasion. And then on top of to add more to this confusion is that the there's a new movie coming out called Secret Wars that is going to be heavily based on, uh, the Skrulls and the war that's going on with the Skrulls. So that's interesting. Okay, and so I'm going to talk about, I'm calling it Hollywood Armageddon, because we are having some really serious stuff to do with these strikes. And the AMPFP is the organization of studios that is making the deals with the SAG-AFTRA, the Writers Guild, the Directors Guild, all the guilds to make sure um, that the studio's interests are um, being met during these negotiations and talks over the years to do with making sure that that they get exactly what they want. According to SAG-AFTRA Actors Guild President Fran Drescher, the AMPFP manipulated the guild into extending negotiations in order to give studios the opportunity to promote summer movies, but had no intention of actually reaching an agreement. So initially, they were going to be the deadline was going to be the 12th of um, uh, was it with the 12th or yeah, well, I'm sorry. I have the dates a little tricky, but I think the 12th ended up being the last day. Um, but yeah, they extended it so that way they can promote the last little bit of movies that were coming out. And that's one of the reasons why she was super super mad too. They pretty much uh tricked them into believing that they were really close to reaching an agreement. um so SAG-AFTRA strikes back, joining the WGA on the picket lines. And you guys probably all know about all this already, but it just is one of the biggest stories in entertainment for the next, that could affect us for the next like year and a half, maybe 2 years. The dispute by both the writers and and SAG actors with the AMP uh, TP is that one, they just want fair salaries. Um, and two, they want residual sharing from streaming companies, royalties. So there's a big deal to do with that because a lot of people with um, are saying that the royalties are pretty they're maniacally small. We're going to talk about that later. And then we have AI's use in the place of writers for a series. So what they're doing is getting the AI to write a script and then have uh, um, writers come in and clean up that script, add in details, so on and so forth, but not come up with the ideas. And that sounds really, really crazy to me. But it, and also there's a couple other things to do with the writers that are, I would say, a strange writing, a strange model, to be very um, frank. So a lot of them will get like a gig for a couple of days or a week, and then the entire team is replaced with new writers. Um, so they lose all if they create something like, let's say they decide, hey, we're going to create a character, they don't get any credit for that. um, which is, that means that character now is owned by the company, and they can, basically keep all of the rights to that character, meaning profits from merchandise, from any other movies or TV shows that those characters are are coming from. So writers get iced out of the process of actually getting credit for the things that they create. Um, and this is something that people have been fighting for years. Even comic books, people have been created comic book characters want to retain those rights because that means that you get paid for them. The companies are getting paid all the time for these properties and these characters and these elements, but they don't want to share that stuff. They don't want to share it because legally it's a lot of work for them, and they just want to make it very plain and simple, the um, corporations own everything. Sorry, let's go back. The actors also are having a very interesting dilemma with the um, digital imaging. Like, here's one weird situation. They're just trying to get actors, like background actors, to come in, get digitally scanned, and um, pay them for one day of work, but their image is being used in perpetuity. Uh, and they get to be like in every movie, but they get paid zero. They've already were paid their amount the first, just to be scanned. And I think that's rotten. That's rotten to the core. At least pay these people if you're going to have them be um, in your movie or in your thing or whatever project you're doing. It's very simple to keep track of that, and I don't understand why uh, this is morally inept to do something like that. There's other things that are going on with actors, big name actors, that their images are being used for digital um, profit, and they're definitely wanting to put the kibosh on that because it's too scary what can be done with your image, even now, right, with
with AI, and we're trying to navigate those things, and so actors want to, make sure that they have a stronghold on what's going to happen there. And let's see, I'm seeing activity in the chat. We got Sean Holmes. Many different attempts in the MCU um, uh, were attempted to create Captain America's serum, like the Gamma experiment for Hulk extremists, Isa Bradley, and many others. However, all experiments failed. Um, and Brogu said, Fran is in that photo yellow. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Yes. And I just loved how, how outspoken she was. And she, remember the last week people were criticizing her for going off and doing that thing. It has absolutely nothing to do with her performance as the president. She's doing a great job fighting for those people. Just hoping that she continues to do so, and and in the process that these big corporations don't decide that they want to start going around attacking people, because they have tricks up their sleeves. So I hope that she fares well out of all of this. And Unicorn Rabbit Studio says failed creating the exact serum, true, but did not fail in creating superpowered individuals. Yeah, because for sure that show has that I forgot what it was called, Captain America, um, and the and I Disney Plus. I forgot the name of that show, but it was the America show. Um, that was kind of like this, where it was, espionage and that group. But they were all super soldiers. Well, they all had taken part in the super soldier process. And Isaiah Bradley, he did have the soup. It did work on him, but um, his story was so tragic. Um, and Unicorn Rampant Studio says, in fact, they did succeed to some degree. To some degree, they just didn't allow the recipients to retain their beautiful hair. I think even the very minor Mad Dog, who was estranged husband of Hellcat, did receive some powers and mental derangement. And uh, late defendant, late defenders uh, villain. Um, okay, yes. So yes, definitely, guys, let me know what you think about this whole thing. It's very fascinating. But I'm going to talk about the effects. So one of the things here is people were looking at the earnings from all of the studio executives, and it's pretty astronomical. They're all making above $100 million a year. Uh, it's like, what? I've never, I would just, eh, guys, you have $100 million. I mean, wow, that's a lot of money. Um, and so, uh, the one that the two that are really, well, at least the one for sure is David Zaslav from Warner Brothers Discovery, who's making almost $500 million. Wow. Wow. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And Iger himself, Bob Iger, who is coming under fire, is almost making 200 million dollars. The cost of one of his movies. It's incredible. How many people are in the movie? Do that? How many people? Okay, how many people work in a movie with the budget of what these guys are making per year? It's like hundreds, sometimes even more than 1,000 people are working on a movie. And so with this high of budget, how many people can you feed on this? how many people can you help with this kind of money? This is insane. And yeah, it's pretty nasty. The scales are not even for sure. And so one of the biggest problems here, or the areas of focus is what's the model that is happening over at Netflix. Um, so what we know so far, Netflix is well known for risking hundreds of millions of dollars on content. They will spend hundreds of $1 million just to get a property um, on their platform. No problem. They have been known to, you know, quote unquote, throw around money. So that's kind of a wild thing there. The stock is up right now, 53% on a year to date basis, and ahead 136% over the 12-month span. They're also cracking down on password sharing and may even implement ads on their platform. So that's more money coming in. We're talking about more opportunities for them to make so much money. Um, and they happen to hide their streaming numbers. And this is a big problem because when by hiding their streaming numbers, it's hard to figure out how much um, people should be getting. Is 100 million people watching, or is it just 10 people watching? We don't know. We just don't know. And the question is why. And let's say they wanted to keep their numbers quiet. um, it's very important for people to know this because look at this. Actors for popular shows can be as low at could get residuals as low as $20 per month. So imagine these guys, they're really super famous. People are stopping them on the street, um, and they're getting awards, but they're getting $20 a month. Guys, I mean, they did get a payment up front, but for all the times that people are watching their show, $20 a month is a very small amount compared to what they get from TV, which is you can receive up to like $300-400 a month on residuals. Um, if even if you have a small part, because they're actually dividing up the earnings and sharing it with the people who help them to become famous and successful. And so Netflix and Disney are the biggest block to the agreements right now. There's some other ones that are there, but these two are the ones that people keep mentioning over and over and over again, and the contents of their agreement. Um, Shauna Holmes says, Retro Nerd Girl, do you think Hollywood should be democratized? Currently, Hollywood CEOs decide what projects get greenlit, who get who gets paid, how, and how the story is developed if they want. Because they're a corporation, and it'd be nice if it was democratized, but uh, it's their prerogative. That's always been the business model. Business Businesses have the opportunity to do things that please the public and also do things that can run their business into the ground. It's their choice, and so that's the um, that's also the reason why there is open opportunity for smaller studios or smaller companies to rise up the ranks. Um, and the thing is, most of those companies usually get bought out by these bigger companies and change. Um, so it's a tough one because everything is ruled by money. greed, and so that stops, that kills whatever, goodwill and progress uh, we were hoping for. And Brogu says, scan the actor and pay them one time, but the industry can use their image and profit on it forever. No way, Jose. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's so morally horrifying. Like that somebody came up with that idea. Like whoever, like the person who gave it was like diabolical, diabolical. And yes, that they would rather that person starve to death, never pay their children, never pay to feed their children, just watch people die. Uh, it's horrifying that they would treat people like this and not give them what they deserve. Um, just horrifying. And the Unicorn Rampant Studio says also, I think in Old Man Logan there were actually 7 vials and uh, Hawkeye takes one. Um, in the comics, right? Good, yeah, not in the movies, in the comics. Okay, yes. Okay, got it, got it, got it. And it says, "Whoops, I got runaway mouth RNG. If you're scrolling backwards, you can just skip the stuff." Oh no, that's I say it's nerdy comic book stuff. No, 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 no. We need to know this stuff because this is what the nerddom requires these days. You got to know about these things. And Brogan says David Zaslav for Warner Brothers, $500 million. We have people homeless in the streets. What is wrong with us here in this country? In other countries, they would start a revolution behind this. This is exactly what I'm saying. How many thousands of people that money could feed? Does he need that money? I like what is he doing with all that? What is he doing with all that money? I don't know. I don't want to know. But all I'm saying, if it's just to go golfing and you could do that for less. But also, he's been firing a lot of people over at Warner Brothers and shelving movies and all sorts of things. And it makes no sense why his salary is so high and people are just barely figuring, trying to get by. They're actors that are just barely trying to get by. But look, if he earns that money, that he can do whatever he wants with it. But I'm just saying that the disparate disparity between his money and like most of America is like, what the heck? Oh, what planet are we living on? I don't know. And Sean Holmes says if the manipulation of an actor's image by AI becomes a court issue and has, as a result of the protesters, won in court, could Hollywood become democratized? I don't think Hollywood would ever become democratized unless it meant that it benefited the studios in some way. Right? If it turned out that if they went through their AI, their AI um, uh, evaluators, and it turned out that, hey, guess what? If we democratize Hollywood, it would make us all a lot more money. They would do it. But at this time, uh, they're not going to do it because it is just they're looking at ways of making more money, and they don't care the morally they don't care how it's done. This is becoming more and more evident. Again, we have this. we're talking about David Zaslav there, which who again, um, I want to make it clear, like if he's earning that money, that's his money. He could do whatever he wants with it. But there are a lot of people without uh, that kind of, or are really suffering, that have worked and is not getting compensated for the work that they did. That's the thing. Like I'm a firm believer in working and getting paid for it, but working and not being compensated, and not being compensated fairly because some contract said something, or your agent missed out, missed some information in a contract, or they managed to figure out how to make manipulate their way around a contract. And there are going to be some people who are so desperate for money, who are desperate to make it, that they're going to say, yes, you can use my image for whatever, not realizing they're going to ice themselves out of the industry altogether. Because if Warner Brothers has your image, and not saying that they're the ones who are doing this or asking for this, but if Warner Brothers has your image, you will not be able to work for Disney as their background person either. Right? They're going to be like, oh, well, we saw you in all the movies last year in Warner Brothers, and also if you decide you want to, like, uh, start a business around but your image, because Warner Brothers or any Disney owns your image, will your business be affected by that? Will you now have, like, anything you do be owned by them because they own it? I mean, this is going to be really insane and crazy. We're gonna have to get the courts in this. And this is really interesting, Sean Home. You mentioned something that was on my mind this morning, is that this really shouldn't be a something that is worked out on picket lines and deliberations between these organizations. This should be in court, where we're talking about people's rights being completely trampled on. This isn't, I don't think this is constitutional. This is really wrong on so many different levels. And I think we won't be able to see the effects of it until it goes wrong, until it goes horribly wrong. Sadly, okay, sadly, and people have pointed this out, I'm not the first one to do this. Start getting AI involved with all of this stuff. AI is going to probably say, hey, we've got a lot of these guys here with a lot of money being made. Maybe we can replace these people with AI. You know what I mean? Can these guys be replaced by AI doing the evaluations, doing the strategy, looking at the data, and produce better results? And that is a big question. The stuff that these guys are doing for greed, okay? Not saying these particular guys, but whoever's on the negotiation panel for the AMPTP, like, they need to really take a step back and say, hey, look, this could happen to us, because it would be much easier, much easier to replace these guys and save yourself $500 million, okay, and make, I don't know, 5 movies that are actually good with that money. Just saying, just saying, just saying. With real people. Uh, do you know what I'm saying? Are you getting what I'm putting down? This is really, to me, like, what makes sense logically if you thought like a robot, like if you thought like AI, what would your answer be for that question? Keep the actors, keep the creative people, keep the writers, replace these guys. Save yourself a lot of money. Warner Brothers could have had like at least 5 movies come out this year that were, from this salary alone. Just incredible. And Keith E says the old phrase used to be grease a fat. The old phrase used to be grease a fat hog's back. Oh, grease a fat hog's back. Oh, ew, yucky. It says, "Show me the money." Yes. And Brother says, "In my humble opinion, there's nothing that a person can do to earn them $500 million a year. Just good old-fashioned greed and corruption in business, while regular people starve and go homeless." Yes. Absolutely. Uh, and that was one of the things that was overheard. It is rumor. No one has a name to provide, but I believe it was either the holiday, uh, the the Hollywood Reporter or Variety. One of those chains. Maybe I have the one wrong, but um, one of the people from the AM uh, PTP said, "We'll just let them." I'm paraphrasing here. Let them. We can wait it out until people start losing their homes, and that got quite a few people upset on the internet, including very much actors, and the mass public, because these people, they're human beings. They're human beings, and it's not fair to do that to them. This is not a strategy of making people homeless, you know, um, and mistreating them, just so they can, uh, have a home. And look, here's the thing: a lot of these actors that we're talking about are not the Dwayne The Rock Johnson or anything. We're talking about working actors that do background work, that do cameos in different TV shows. They get a part or two in a show. They're great. A lot of them are great actors, and have been in the business for years and years, decades. Some of them have other jobs. They know what it's like to already, go like 2, 3 years without actually working, or actually getting a gig. They've been waiting it out their whole careers. So there's a lot of actors like this. So when you see someone like a very high profile actor, you know, saying something about the treatment in Hollywood, no, that actor is really speaking up for the other actors that are not making as much as they are, because there's a lot of actors that are making some pretty bank. You know, even Tom Cruise was trying his best to you know to negotiate in behalf of the actors, and they're just not listening to reason, just not listening to reason. um but yeah, they're really willing for to people to die, children to go without food. That's this is the Hollywood. This is real Hollywood. This is real Hollywood, not the award ceremonies where you have a speech where people are like, "Yes, kumbaya, we love everybody." That's just for us. This is real Hollywood. People who actually say, "Let them starve, let them eat cake." It's not the only one. Wait till we get to, we haven't even touched the surface yet. And Jeanne says, my last question was working under the assumption that the courts um, would take away CEOs' power to decide how Hollywood runs, basis on the misuse of one's image plus the stealing of people's personal info. Yeah, and I see where you're coming from, but the only problem, th- uh, if they do something illegal, yes, that's why I think that this really should be a court issue and not determined by strikes and labor unions. I think that this needs to be brought to court. And the thing is, a crime hasn't really been committed yet, right? Because we're like pro crime prevention before, if somebody, they do this to an individual, it can be taken to court, and the courts can look at this as if, and say, is this a legal thing? But no one has done that yet. No one has done that. It's taken this to court and made this a court issue because it needs to be approached by the Supreme Court to make this something that's banned. Like, you can't do this in America, and it's just not um, it's just not fair. It's not humane. Uh, is really what I'm saying. And Unicorn Rampant Studios. Oh, and also to your question, um, yes, I feel like it really should be something taken to court, and I don't I don't think that they would um CEOs wouldn't be under the wouldn't have any problem. They're doing this under the banner of the company. The whole company would be charged for, whatever misuse there was, and perhaps there would be a payment or a fine, or some stipulation that they would have to follow. But it is, because it's a business, they follow different rules than, say, if it was an individual, or um as far as people deciding how Hollywood would run, is it's a great idea, but because these are entities of power, they can do things however they want to. Like, it's similar to the way, people, if someone goes to your house, they can't, there are certain rules that we have in society, but when you go to anybody's house, you're under their rules, whatever they decide. No one can police that unless they're doing something illegal. Once they pass the threshold of doing something illegal, then and only then we can the government step in. Unicorn Rampant Studio says, what's that's a very interesting structured question, Sean Holmes. The hardest part is the first assumption. Um, and All right, guys. And William Blake calls us. Anyone can think of any reason why any individual would be worth more than 15 million. I don't know. I look at it. Look, if you were smart enough to um to create a product, and a whole bunch of people said, "Hey, take my money," I yeah, that it's all yours. I don't have a problem with that. My thing is, if you are if you're my point really was, like, these guys are making a lot of money, and they're hoarding it. They're hoarding all the money, and they are not willing to have, like, any, they're like the lowest person in the company make any money at all. any money at all. Like they're willing to take money out of the mouths of children, and that's not ethical. Like you need to earn that money by actually providing services that people want and need, being fairly treating your employees fairly, right? You have to follow those particular set of rules. If you're doing it nefariously, manipulating situations that in a negative way, just so you can grease your pockets with more money, it just makes like like it's mind-boggling to me. You can make it like as many trillions of dollars you want to go for it, just provide a service and treat your employees with respect. And they're not doing that right now. They're not treating their employees with respect. And, Grand Rapids City. Maybe they have $51 million bucket of palladium. And and Jean Holmes says, according to news reports, I heard about Hollywood's AI works by stealing other people by stealing people's personal info to give itself information, and then the AI has the info it can manipulate consumers. There are many different programs out there um, that can do a lot of different things. Um, and as far as personal information goes, I, I, it's had it all the time. It's had it since like the invention of the internet. Um, it's had it since email. So there's a lot of information it can go through to do any kind of manipulation. But the AI is not doing all of this manipulation on its own. It's Hollywood executives and um, making that decision that they're going to use AI in nefarious way. It's not the AI itself, it's the executives making those decisions. And so one of the jobs that we know could be done better by AI is the one job in which could probably save the company hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, these salaries, like, what could be done with that money? It's incredible. Seems like the natural artificial way. Yeah. And Brogu says you have a situation where there's honor among thieves. Yeah, all of these corporate executives know that they're wrong, but are willing to be in cahoots with one another just to get that money. Yeah, there's some, there now. To be fair, there's some of um, the studios that are they're not they don't they're not having a problem. We know for sure there's two there that Netflix is one big one because of the streaming platform, and as far as not the AI necessarily, but for dealing with and constructing that a new model for residuals, and that's a big piece of the pie, like the financial pie, giving the actors the money that they're owed for their work. The other piece that's going on with this is the whole streaming wars. Everyone wanted to be like Netflix. We're learning the last 2 years really it opened our eyes to the fact that Netflix does not have the best model. Now, I am actually a big fan of Netflix and the movies that they make, but they have to pay their actors for the work that they do. Just saying, they need to do that. They need to do it. It's really sad that that's the bare minimum. that you could do is pay the actors what they deserve. Now, the biggest question here is, how long is this going to go on, right? So at first I was hearing August. It's not going to go on past August. It's going to be worked out, don't worry. Then I heard September. It's like, okay, well, maybe around September, August, September. Then, especially after the statement came out about um, the rumor that somebody said, let them starve, or we're gonna wait until they lose their homes. I heard October, December, and that's quite a while. That's gonna put us back at least a year, or maybe even 2 years. And with the writers being out, that's really the actors have a better chance, we think, um, of getting some kind of negotiation. The writers, the studios are really bullish right now on how they want to treat those writers, and it could be really, really nasty when it comes to the writers guild and what they want. So it could this could go on for a long time. The actors guild, are willing to still work with actors as far as, like, doing unscripted stuff with actors, improving, whatever, and working off of old scripts that they had in the studio. They have a lot of material because, remember, these guys get sent scripts all the time. So they weren't at a loss of having scripts available. But actors not acting, that's a problem. So we have a lot of different theories on when this is actually going to end. Um, but what we're all hoping is that for the sooner the better that this is done. Now, there are many strategies for a lot of these companies to do. Um, hold on one second. I'm having another attack right now. It's attacking my throat. Okay, I'll be right back. Uh, oh my God, guys, I'm dying. Oh my gosh. It's so wild. Okay. Phew. Let's see what you guys are saying. Shannon says, if a person violates someone's right to privacy and manipulates one's image without negotiation, couldn't that be a court issue? Like, for example, uh, college sports. Um, hmm. I don't know the example of college sports at all, but it it if you can prove that somebody is using your image, um, uh, that could, yeah, and that could be a big problem if you know for sure that they're using a file of yours. You have somebody on the inside that said, "Hey, this executive said just change the nose on this character," and n- that could be something to go off of. But also too, um, if you look at all of the, like, all sorts of content that uses the image of other people, like the images of other people, like, say for instance, robot chicken. they have those claymation characters that look like celebrities. Remember Celebrity Deathmatch, all that stuff. Is that a problem? Or um, is it a problem when it's about like actually taking like if actually taking the scan, like how far are we going with this? Because yes, if you've scanned your self image for a company and they've decided to just do whatever they want with your image and use your face in a way that you did not sign off on. That's a big problem, and that would be something to take to court. If they change your looks around a little, but you can still tell it's you, again, maybe you have an opportunity to actually win some compensation or actually like uh, change the system. Crispin Glover had something like this happen to him for Back to the Future 2. They had an actor with face prosthetics to look almost just like him, and also do the same mannerisms. When I saw the movie, I thought it was Crispin Glover. I had no idea it was somebody else. But that wasn't, Crispin did not get any money or residuals from that, or and he went to court. He's like, "You're using my image, and you need to pay me." And the court said, "Yes, we agree. They used his image." Um, and that was most people thought it was him. That was the other part. People thought it was him in that particular case. Another case, which is probably a different scenario, was in the Planet of the Apes. We had the character of Cornelius played by Roddy McDowell. Roddy could not do the second movie, so another actor stepped in, did the prosthetics work to look like Cornelius, and like pretty much mimicked his performance. A lot of people didn't know it wasn't Roddy, and Roddy did not take that to court. He was cool with it. I went on to do other projects with other Planet of the Apes movies. So it depends on each person, of course, and the situation. And specifically with the Back to the Future situation, they asked him to return, and he said, I'll return. You just have to pay me more money." They said, "Hey, we're not going to do that." But they went off and decided they were going to take the character and, like, we're going to have him in the character, but we're going to pretend that this is still the same guy. And that was a problem. That was a problem. So they went above his call of action. They could have just said, "Hey, he's away on business." But they wanted to have the actor in that role. Actor refused. So they got somebody else to not just, to replace him and look just like him. So um, that was a big issue. And William Blake also says, for most of us, money is how to survive. The echelons this high, it becomes unfair leverage or an ab, a, or an abstract competition with each other. Yeah, they're just competing with each other, at this point, because who has the biggest golf cart? I mean, I don't know. It's just really kind of crazy because it's like, um, I like I said, if you earned that money, that good on you, but don't don't you dare come up with a plan so evil that it tries to stop people from making a living. Wow. Yeah, like, not only do you want all the money, you want to stop other people from making a living and compensating them for their hard work. And William said, "Darn it, don't want to aim the dart gun at her throat." Yeah, it's bad. It's bad today. And Brogo says, if these executives want to play hardball, uh, uh, let and let people lose their homes, and then the general public can boycott every last movie coming out to Hollywood in the future to show support for the union. I mean, this is possible. This is absolutely possible. There are many ways to do it, which is yeah, pretty much, which is sad that it's come to the point that people are mad at studios. But let me just go through really quickly how studios are going to fight back in their own way or maneuver ways to continue to move forward, so you can know about it and judge accordingly what you're going to do as a consumer. Streaming and cable can counter the strikes by uh, getting international content acquisition, and this is things that are already made, but it's international. So all the actors won't be SAG, and all the writers won't be WGA, right? This is sneaky ways of going around the unions, and so they can go to Canada, which for most appearances is a lot like American um, audiences, and we have a lot of things that are similar. So that would be one of the choices. We've got the UK. It could also ask a lot of the actors to use American accents, and blur the lines there. So and still be, you know, it will still have appeal to American audiences. Then we have South America, the Philippines, India, uh, Japan. There are lots of places that have content that they could just buy and just put it on their platforms, so that way they don't miss a beat, right? They don't miss a beat. They're still creating content for their subscribers, or yeah, for their subscribers. Then the international content development. That means actually developing things for their or developing content for their platforms, but do it in Malaysia or do it um, in in the UK, which is probably they're actually developing House of Thrones right now in the UK. They're not affected by the strikes at all. None of them um, seem to be SAG actors, and the writers are all from there. So everything is being done overseas. Warner Brothers Discoveries is going to have content for the Max channel. So that's another thing that they're going to do. There's also reality TV. They're boosting up. I just saw two advertisements for reality TV shows. One is The Bachelor, featuring a guy in his 70s. I'm like, wow, they're really going for it. Video game shows, or just game shows in general. It's non-scripted. You get a couple of people who are unknown. Um, or that's not SAG-AFTRA uh, related, and have them on reality TV shows. They could get old programs. I'm sorry, not yet. See, concerts. Concerts is another thing that they can also do with any artist who's willing to provide, um, you know, for some of them just get paid, 'cause, that's a thing, and use their concerts for content. And of course, documentaries, which is non-scripted, um, none of those guys would be actors or looking for SAG actors um, memberships in the future. Director's cuts and special editions of library content that doesn't require new contract agreements. So a lot of people have talked about the Ayer cut. Now, it could be available if indeed they don't need to change any of the contract agreements. They could just re-release it and or not re-release it, but they could just release it with the director's cut, as people have been thirsting after that movie for years. So the director's cut of the Ayer cut of Suicide Squad. Then oh, okay, this is the other one, and it's very nefarious, guys. This strike could be used as the means to fire employees and torch entire departments that they intended to all along. Oh, yep, we don't have enough money. We're going to have to get rid of this entire department. We've already heard Disney talk about budget cuts. So, and also Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers is currently, um, I believe, several billion dollars in debt, like something ridiculous, uh, like maybe 40. Let me find out for you the exact amount that they're in debt right now. Uh, right now, they are down to $49.5 billion in debt. Last year, in April, they were 55 billion. So they're bringing down that number. They're bringing down that number, but it is still really ridiculously high. They owe money. And they are losing so much money at the box office. No one wants to see their movies. It's really sad. So now we've got Barbie, that they're hoping that this one is finally going to stick with the audience. Um, and of course, there's Joker 2. That's also another one that they're hoping is going to, help with the audience. We've got Blue Beetle in Aquaman. This is really tough because without the actors to promote these movies, they're going to suffer in the box office. They are. They're just going to suffer. So yeah, this is very scary stuff because all of these, we're talking about entire departments and a bunch of employees that may be fired during this time. They can always blame, oh yeah, the strikes are, that's happening. That's why we have to let you go. This is really going to put a lot of people uh, into poverty. It's really terrible. Not to mention all of the other um, areas that will be affected. In domestically in the U.S., we're going to have a lot of problems here. The studios themselves, staffing of all kinds, just again firings, uh, production and crews. Of course, they're not. None of those guys are making money at this point. VFX artists all over the world, completely, they're going to have one entire huge market that they're not going to be able to um, do any work for. There won't be any, things written for storyboarding and actors to be able to do a lot of the work. Uh, and let's see. I finish. Television networks. Their programming is just jacked up for a while. Um, it's just completely jacked up, and nobody can promote anything. So if maybe a few TV shows have some old programming in their back pocket, they're probably going to pull out old episodes of things, so we'll probably get a lot of reruns. Not saying that the television networks are not going to have programming. They're going to have programming, but it's not going to be new programming. And this why does this keep happening? Streaming services, um, of course, will have problems with scripted programming. All of that stuff is going to be uh, there's going to be they're going to have to press hold on a lot of that, and unless they do that international strategy, as I mentioned earlier. The theaters is definitely going to have a problem, uh, if not now, but uh, possibly in the next year to year and a half. They've already been struggling to stay open. They've already have had troubles. So this is going to be tough on them. It's almost like a second lockdown, but maybe let's hope not as long. Um, and um, stock market prices could be doing some dropping for a lot of these companies, especially once as people are just getting more and more disgusted with with the concept of their ideas of how they want to treat people. The more they open their mouths to say things about this situation, the worse it gets, and we're going to talk about some of the statements that were said. But the stock market price drops, um, uh, it could be a very very um, big effect on this whole thing. Now let me keep going. And William Blake Hall says, "Hey, TCM is looking better all the time." Yes, and a lot of people are going into retro content and which is like I'm I'm really happy a lot of people are going to be appreciating or watching. I just hope just we can start with watching a lot of old movies. One of the channels that I usually watch announced that they're going to start doing a lot of retro reviews, and it's just one of those things that people are going to be relying on their library of material. And I know that the studios won't suffer from people buying physical media, because physical media is definitely one of those ways that actors and actresses could get that those like full on royalties that they deserve. Streaming is happens to be the worst way for them to get royalties for the stuff that they need. Um, um, and so William also says, forget new content, get caught up on the old. Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of it. There are thousands of movies, and not only that, independent film is a whole area that never gets touched. And my channel is really like struggling compared to a lot of the other um, channels. And there's a lot of independent films that I would love to kind of talk about that are science fiction, but it's also like people knowing about those movies. Like it's hard to like make a review on something that people don't know anything about if you're not a big channel. Like small channels is really hard for me to make content about an independent science fiction story that maybe five people know about. It's really kind of a tough one, but we're gonna figure out ways. I think it's important. Unicorn Rampant Studio says there's a possibility the audience loses interest as well. Yeah, I think people are, like, oh yeah, we're gonna get reruns, and um, I, I don't know. This one is a tough one. They're going to be affected. I'm sure they're going to implement some strange ways, but it's not going to be um, totally satisfying for people because people want to see stars. They want to see we want to see great actors. And so, yeah, this is going to be very interesting. And it's hard for you to get um, y- you know uh, a good show using actors that aren't exactly like famous, because some a lot of them are are good, are really good. Some of them are great, and there's some people, like, there's a reason why they're not like the top tier. So it, uh you've got to, like, SAG-AFTRA has a reputation, and those actors, this is going to be a time for us to see why they're important. That's the other thing. That's the other thing, and we're going to find out why they're important to to be in the business. And William, what he calls says, we can become archaeologists of a great old entertainment, raiders of the lost ark. I always say, movies belong in a museum. Film vault raiders, yes. And William, that was part of, and I spoke to Unicorn Rampant Studio about this. That is part of my idea for some adventures I wanted to have on the channel. That my missions are also to find movies and put them in a special museum, um, for human documentation. And Moonbeam 87 is here and says, "Well, Robot Chicken can stop motion. I'll call it, it's stop motion. I'll call it claymation, but it's around the same type using dolls. Robot Chicken is named after a dish." And William Blake, oh, I'm really behind, guys. Am I really, really that far behind? Oh my gosh, why did that just happen? Okay, I'm like 30 minutes behind. I'm gonna have to skip a little. I missed Celebrity Deathmatch. Sorry about that. Shano says college sports generates money through media and other venues, but the studio is playing. Oh, since college players don't receive profit, they could make that a court issue. Yes, they can if they're not. But oh, that maybe they can or can't. I don't know, because no, it's not a court issue. No, it's not a court issue. Um, College sports generates money through media and other venues, but the students playing don't receive any profits. Yes, that money goes back to the school, and the school is basically that's what college is for. It's for you. It's like an internship. You're working on your skills. You're playing with the best in the country. You're getting exposure so you can be found by the big the big NBA um, um, talent scouts, and you're it, it's an opportunity mostly, but also it should be going to the college. And if the college, hopefully the college is getting something out of it too, either getting recognition and and probably donations to the cause. So the players shouldn't, I don't think the players, this is a little bit different. I mean, unless there's a future model where the NBA players are getting money for being on television from, like, all of the channels that cover them. Because the media is just there to observe and report. They're they're not um, uh, they're actually doing a promotion of the sport. they make money off of ticket sales, the ticket sales of people going to the event, knowing that this is going to be this event is going to be televised. It's a big deal for a lot of people. So that has a completely different model. Like each business can't be run the same. And William Blake Hall says, I believe the stand-in for McDowell, as Cornelius was named Paul Weston. Haiti Roddy went on to conquer the planet. Yes, he did. And Paul Watson. Okay. Um, and Sean Innes says the studio drastically cut the budgets of all of the original Planet of the Apes movie. It was ridiculous. Oh yes, we could get into that. It's a whole nother show. Unicorn Rampant Studio. I believe the college athletes can make money from their own images, however, even if the colleges do not pay them. Yeah, it depends on, that you've got to be creative, and you've got to use, it's what is called in business leveraging. And so you have to leverage your popularity, um, and figure out how to do it. You have to know business. um, you have to know business, or you have to be so charismatic that you get a deal other than, um, you get the attention of someone who says, hey, we can do something with you. um, but at this part in their career, the only thing that they should be focused on is being an athlete. It's almost like saying all of the athletes in the Olympics should get money for every time they're on screen. It doesn't work like that. This is sort of the kind of thing of like documentary journalistic stuff that covers a completely different avenue of money making. But if you're clever, right, you can figure out a way. And high school students as well. And I think the benefit for those guys is they want to be on television. They want to be seen and uh, by scouts that are looking for talent. And I told you guys the thing that if you wanna get hit, you've got to get in traffic. And if you're complaining that they're using your image, hey, they're like, okay, yeah, well, we can't put the camera on that guy because he's complaining that that he's not getting any money for people looking at him. And so when talent scouts are looking to see, hey, who's the most talented on the screen, they don't see you because you've stopped the process. So yeah, I mean, I think mm, there is a little bit of leeway for like that kind of documentary thing where um that happened a couple of years ago. Ooh, I want to know about that story. Saul Miniola was a uh, chip chimp strangled in the escape of the planet. I don't know what that means. Sal Mineo. Sal Mineo was strangled in the escape from the planet. Uh, Um, companies will always test the strength of the unions. Yes, back on schedule. Unicorn, sorry to phrase it as a fact, just my opinion. Oh, yeah, sure. And Brogu says, there was an episode on Netflix, Black Mirror, that used the likeness of a person that made a successful TV show. She had no recourse, but because her job contract, they uh, buried the agreement. I heard about that Black Mirror episode. I believe was Salma Hayek in that one. It's very people are talking about it a lot now. Sean Innes says there are also countries where there are locked funds. India used to lock funds So every once in a while, U.S. studios would use frozen assets to finance a film like Gandhi. Moonbeam says, "Yeah, I thought it was Crispin Glover in the sequels. The scene at the door is iconic. David Watson was Cornelius beneath but yes, we spoke about that. Sean Ennis says, I wouldn't count on the Barbie bailing them out. Yeah, it's not going to bail them out because they're too badly damaged at this point. And from what I can tell with Barbie, they did not go the clear route with Barbie, and so it's got a lot of mixed reviews. And when you get mixed reviews, yeah, it looks great though. It looks like a beautiful film. Like they put a lot of care into the beauty of the film, but I think and it may be clever from what I've heard that there's some clever moments, but uh, when you get it, it's a lot of people don't know what to really say about it. They're still ruminating over it, so it's kind of tough. Tough luck there. And Moonbeam says every time I hear Charlton Heston as um, hold on one second, guys. I'm being attacked. Okay, sorry about that. Wow, just when I was catching up. Okay, so every time I hear Charlton Heston Isaiah saying, "Damn them all to hell," the follow-up line is, "These ape films just won't end well. Maybe now that I'm an ape." Um, Heston hated the Planet of the Apes films. Well, that depends on it. He didn't like being there's different ones because sometimes he liked them. It's just weird because sometimes he liked them and sometimes he had some animosity towards like having to be brought back from for the second one. He did not like that at all. But otherwise than that, he did enjoy the concept and was the biggest proponent of the film and getting it made and everything uh, in the beginning, and was very at least one of the later interviews he was very proud of it. When he says you have a great VFX, you have great VFX for a channel that's as old as mine. Um, I'm not sure what you mean. Great VFX. Uh, mhm. Yeah, I don't know what I mean. And Brogu says, RNG, I hope you make a movie on your own with no help from Hollywood. That's the plan. Everyone on YouTube and the internet would go see it. That's so sweet. I'll see it at least twice myself. You get all the money. Case solved. Oh, that's so sweet. um, and Moonbeam says, I'm pretty um, viral at 87 views in 48 hours. Oh yeah, oh that's good. Um, let's see. I'm gonna like zoom down just a little bit. Because I want to get back on topic. Um,
Oh, look, Thrash Pondo Pons is here. Hey, it says, hey, cats and kittens. Hi. So good to see you. So good to see you. Um, uh, let's see. Um, let's see. Am I catching up with everybody? Lots of talk amongst yourself. Oh, Mikey Lito's in the chat. Hello, Mikey Lito. So great to see you. Um, And yes, Unicorn was helping to update everybody. Okay, she just made up about 15 minutes in the chat, only 5 to 10 minutes behind now. And yes, I'm catching up, guys. I'm catching up. Uh, and Michaelito says the reality is it's up to us as audiences and citizens to not allow studios and other businesses to get away with some of their business practices. Yes, we have the power to make them feel the you know the losses, right? And so a lot of people have been showing Disney and Warner Brothers just how they feel about some of their practices, really at the box office. And it's quite incredible to see how they're like squirming and trying to work their way around. I usually don't talk about these companies this way. It's just I'm quite upset at the fact that they are trying to bully people basically into accepting these horrible um, contracts and you're like, hey, we're gonna wait until they're starving to death and before we give them the things that they deserve. That's really awful. That's really awful. And William Blake Hall says, come to think of it, why do I have a dart gun? Maybe those tubes that Dr. McCoy always used on Star Trek. And Thrash Pond Pond says, RIG is under attack. Divert power to defend the screens. I'll charge my main gun. Thank you. You guys are so awesome. Um, and Unicorn, remember to aim carefully. um, and let's see. And Michaelito, thank you. I'm thinking of Batgirl was an example. If Warner Brothers Discovery didn't want to release the film, that's fine. Why should I, as a taxpayer, have to absorb the cost of them making a bad film if that's what it was? Yes, and you know what's really awful about it um, is that all of the people that worked on that film, they are now in like invisible. Their work is gone. They get no money, residual money from that at all, too. Uh, and it's like a big waste. And Leslie Grace has to now have another opportunity. Hopefully, another opportunity will come to show off her talents. Her big day, hopefully, will come again. Um, I thought they were really big jerks for doing that. Um, and especially for having like now totally uh like do a flippy flip on the entire universe. Well, then what would be the harm to release that movie? What would be the harm to release the Scooby-Doo movie that they also canned? It just it's just kind of incredible, the practices. It's all legal. It's all legal. Uh, Mikey Lito says, you make a bad decision, you eat it, just like you have to do if you make if I make a bad decision. Yeah, it's incredible. Let's see, and I am zooming past a lot of these. I'm seeing that you guys are chatting with it amongst yourself. I'm starting to learn how to skip over those chats. Let's see. Sean Holmes says, Retro Nerd Girl. Basis on our current system, you're probably right about owners' rights. Do you understand my previous suggestion about democratization of the workplace from court rulings?
Absolutely, absolutely. I understand what you mean. It just changes the model, the capitalism model of America completely, and globally. I don't think any company is like that at all. And as far as business is concerned, um, companies do whatever they want. They decide, okay, well, the colors for the new colors for the logo is going to be pink, and they've always had royal blue. That they make those decisions whenever they want. It doesn't matter what customers want. It doesn't matter what the employees want, and it doesn't matter what's best for the company either. It's whatever they decide. So it's always been that way, and it's. I mean, I guess that's why they call it an entity. See if I can. And Sean Holmes also says, uh, it's repeating your same question again. And Brogo says, I agree with you, Retro Nerd Girl. I can't help but wonder why we, as the general public, would want to give our money to an industry that is exploiting its employees to this extent. Yeah, and look. Do not be surprised if you see mass firings from a lot of these companies claiming that it's, oh, we are doing it because of the actors are wounding the industry. No, the actors didn't do that. You guys are doing that because you wanted to fire people, and you wanted to save money, and you want to now jip anybody in the future from making money. It's pretty simple. We can all see through your lies. It's just, I mean, I'm usually really positive about these things. I mean, usually really kind about this stuff, but this is really, we're talking about human rights. We're talking about people could die because they don't have enough food to eat. We're talking about children can grow up with disabilities, and because they're living in poverty and unable to go to the hospital for the simplest treatments because they don't have health insurance, they don't have money. This is a big deal. This can change the shape of our country. They're actually like, and it would like want us to be like a third world country. It's really horrible. It's horrible what is going on, just so they can have more billions in their pockets. It's just, ooh, it's angering. Upsetting, and I really, really pray and hope that it's not going to be. I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. Mike Alito says they're already laying off people because there's no production. Yeah, a lot of people just don't have anything. But what I'm saying is, like in the offices and like departments that they had for different things around the studio, they may be just like flat out destroying those departments. And this is the perfect opportunity to start doing everything. And they've already been doing lots of things overseas, or outsourcing it overseas. This is the perfect opportunity to continue to do so, and icing out a lot of people, good, talented people, in um, that are not going to be able to get the opportunity. They're going to have to um, do jobs that are not creative. And Josh Pandapon says, have to split, gotta leave for work soon. Oh, thank you for stopping in. Oh my God, you don't know. That's really sweet of you. Thank you so much. Glad I could pop in, he says. Oh, wonderful. Yes, and anybody and everybody, do take a look at Thrash Pandapon's channel. It's a lot of fun. If you love retro things, as we've just discussed, is going to be a big thing. Let's be on the cutting edge of all the retro things and be like the smartest people in the room. And go over to Thrash Panda Pond's channel, because he's got like things like trivia and all sorts of fun conversations about retro stuff. And yes, Keith, he says, be safe. a lot of crazy tourists out there. Oh, look, it's Darth Plato. Oh, so good to see you here. It says, "Hey, gang." Yeah, we're talking about the SAG-AFTRA strike and the effects it will have on the country, really. Um, and Let's see. Mikey says, my brother knows someone who was laid off, a studio office worker, because there's no work. Yeah, they're using it as an excuse because this is the perfect time. The timing is right. For every person that they're getting rid of, they add a little bit more to their salaries. So just like, hey, you were making $14,000 a year. Well, we're going to get rid of this person. They're only making $14,000 a year. I can go right into my bonus this year. And Dash Ron says, thanks, RNG. So good to have you there. I'm glad that you're able to, for a few moments, stop by, just for a few moments. And Rogu says, and after they fire employees, they will give themselves a mega. Rogu, just yeah, exactly. And Sean Ho says, not true, Retro Nerd Girls. In 1956, a religious group started a company in a poor area to develop jobs for those in need of employment. This company was called Mondragon, and it's democratized. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know the details of Mondragon. I don't know the details of it, so um, I, there's one company that's democratized. If we're looking for um, Walmart, or we're looking for Warner Brothers to suddenly become democratized, I doubt it. um, but yeah, I mean, if there's one, maybe I would need to know more about that company and how they're running their things. And it looks like they're doing things for people, um, that it's part of their model. So as a company, you can decide however you want to run your company, whatever model that you want, um, and that you want to make it uh, democratized, or if you don't, it's up to the person who, or the CEO or the people in charge. Um, so Unicorn Rampant Studio says, welcome, chat joiners. Um, And yes, absolutely welcome indeed. Okay, let's move. We're moving on. I caught up, everybody. Wasn't that crazy? Okay, and Disney, Bob Iger speaks. Oh my gosh, this is the part that's really upsetting. Okay, so this is going to start off a little not so upsetting in the beginning. It says that I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, I know that they were saying that they had some problems with money. And so he's basically announced that ready to sell licensed IP content to make money. This is the same thing that Warner Brothers Discovery did. He admits that streaming shows hurt the Marvel brand. And he said that there's too much, too many of them. And they're absolutely correct. As soon as WandaVision showed up, people started to see cracks in the Marvel's storytelling model, and it really it made people more critical of the brand. It really did, and the same thing goes for Star Wars as well. He said that he's pulling back on marketing, on making Marvel and Star Wars content. So whatever they had planned, these movies that Kathleen Kennedy had mentioned in a few that she was doing, stuff that Kevin Feige said that that he was planning, that is going to be tweaked, and there will be less. Okay, there will be less. And this news comes from CNBC, and I did hear some of this from Star Wars Theory, who was also looking at the CNBC article. Now, regarding the strike in particular, he said some very inflammatory statements. He calls it the strike in its totality disturbing. The Actors Guild does not have a realistic expectation and actually gave absolutely no details as to why. Because this would have been the perfect time and place to say, go over the details of what this agreement or what they're trying to, his side of the story. There was no conversation on that. There was no details on it to see their side of the story. Uh, he said that it will have a damaging effect, causing collateral damage to the industry, and that much he's correct. This is a huge issue. Some of the stuff that I mentioned before that could be happening to the industry, especially theaters, especially the little guy, the small workers of this industry. They're going to be iced out. And so they're going to have to look for other work. They're going to have other jobs. They're going to have to find other means. A lot of them will probably get on YouTube. I mean, it's possible. And we might get a high tick of people joining up YouTube and TikTok and places like that to market their creativity, their spontaneity, their charisma, and not let it go to waste, because right now Hollywood is not giving them the fair chance they deserve. And it's pretty bad that they're um, uh, uh, just wanting people to take terrible contracts that would really insult them and hinder them from making money in the future. So yeah, there is a collateral damage on both sides if they go ahead with a lot of the stuff, especially the AI portion of it, because that seems to be growing. And they could even be putting, as we talked about earlier, putting their own jobs at stake, because a computer can easily come up with strategies to make a better outcome for the entertainment business if it was fed the proper information and programmed to do such. And this is all stuff I got from the Hollywood Reporter, but everybody's reporting on this. So there was a rumor that Disney was selling to Apple. And yep, that's one of the rumors. So here we have Bob Iger built Disney into the world's most powerful entertainment company by acquiring Pixar, Marvel, and Lucasfilm. It also acquired 20th Century Fox as well. So yep, he's selling. We talked about that a little bit earlier. Iger put roughly a third of the company up for sale this week, declaring Disney's linear TV assets non-core. That includes TV networks ABC, FX, and Freeform. He also said Disney is looking for a strategic partner for ESPN, though he's not willing to sell the whole thing. And the company is already looking to sell or restructure its TV and streaming business in India. And this was from Bloomberg. I was all over the place looking for for information this morning, as I was like, "Oh my God!" It's incredible what's happening over at Disney. So they need money, and they need it badly. They're in a financial bind, and because a lot of their movies haven't been doing as well, and they have been spending over the budget limit of just like the basics, right? So they've been piling in money to Indiana Jones. I believe that particular movie was over $300 million, and not even including the marketing, and it it did very poorly, very poorly. Did not bring in the billion-dollar success they were hoping. So yeah, that concludes the story about Disney, but it's pretty incredible. Let's see what you guys have to say. Um, oh, Keith E is so sweet. Says hit the thumbs up. It's free and artificial intelligence maybe doesn't keep track. And Mikey Lito is like, of course it keeps track. And Mikey Lito says, I'm fairly certain Bob Iger, who created Disney instead of more. Did I read this one already? Lucas create content for his streaming, insisted that Marvel and Lucasfilm create content for his streaming service. And yes, this was part of the model that he left. This is his legacy. And when he left, was it 2019 or 17 or it was 18 or 19? When he left, he there was a firm and strong emphasis on becoming the number one streaming platform in the world. And they thought they were going to be able to just beat Netflix. And at the beginning, it looked like they were doing just that. Uh, the problem was the model for Netflix is still a mystery to most people, and we're not even sure if it actually works because they hide their numbers, and it's very, we're trying to people are trying to figure out where did they get the money from? Where is all this money coming from? So we're not sure what their business model is. Not entirely. We need somebody on the inside to blow the cover for how Netflix is making their money. And yes, Bob is responsible for the mess that is what we have today with Disney, the just not connecting with the audience, all of the changes, really extending the Marvel content way too far. Instead of keeping the nucleus of the Avengers very sacred and safe, it was almost like as soon as Endgame happened, it was an explosion. And then we're just like, okay, we're going to give people more. We're not going to lose the momentum of this. That was such a big, glorious moment. Should have given the audience some time to digest that and then come out with slow, meticulously planned content. Okay. And Keith E says, let me go on record that says I love AI and is there's simply not enough of it. And now going forward, it's wonderful and fantastic. Keith E, yeah. And Unicorn Rabbit Studio says, yes, Keith E, make sure our Android overlords realize that you've been on their side the whole time. And Mikey Lito says, we'll see how you feel in a year. Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. It's scary. I think it's a lot of people, and myself included, think it's way too late. The minute um, uh, we had people replaced for doing VFX on Jurassic Park. Everybody loves Jurassic Park, the first one. They did something outstanding in that movie. What they were able to do with the computers, not without a lot of hard work by the technicians that were working on that. They were artists and they're very skilled to come up with all that. But having the ability to use computers in a way that's photorealistic, that was it. That was the moment of change. And after that, this is all inevitable. So if we were going to go back in a time machine, we'd probably we'd course correct there. And Kitty says to Red, see you through. I'm not sure what that's. I think that's Siri messing with you again. Yes, Siri. And William Blake also says Iger high learning more on CGI. What mere mortal thespian dare challenge your monopoly? Uh, that was almost rhyming. That was almost rhyming. Monopoly, yes. And Brogan says, George Lucas gave these guys a golden goose when he sold them Star Wars, and they proceeded to pluck all the feathers off that sucker, slit its neck instead of taking care of it so you can so it can lay more eggs. Yeah. And also the trickery that was used to manipulate George Lucas into selling his products, telling him that he had no heirs, playing upon his weaknesses. It's very, very sus, in my opinion. Very sus, and I don't like it one bit. And what I really don't like is what they've done with it and how, you know, they tried, but also they failed spectacularly. I can say that they failed spectacularly. And Mike Lito says SPN is 80% owned by Disney and 20% owned by Hearst. Their streaming business in India is failing because they decided not to compete for cricket coverage. Ah, interesting. Using American decision making for another country makes sense. William Blake Hall says, or it laid an egg and that stayed an egg. Ooh, yeah. And Mike Lita says linear television is failing because audiences switch to streaming and the companies don't want to share profits with television stations. Yeah, they don't. They don't want to share profits with anybody. With anybody. And that's a problem. Sean Holmes says another common name from Mondragon is worker corp. This meaning suggests that everyone employed in it has an equal shares of the company, including the person responsible for maintenance and cleaning. Well, if they own shares of the company, that's similar to what happens in like corporations like Disney. They have a board, and that board is able to say, "Hey, look, we don't like what's going on." Shareholders, they have shareholders meetings every quarter, and they get it to say. Uh, they have a say. So there is democracy. It's not the democracy like this company is doing, where it's more divided amongst the people who work there, and not amongst an elite group uh, behind shadows. And Unicorn Rampant Studio says even co-ops have boards and executives. Yeah. And members don't get to vote on every detail every time. Yeah, they hire someone, the CEO, to make those decisions, and that CEO can make any decision he wants unless it makes a big enough problem or issue that they need to get involved. And Sean Holmes says company decision on what to produce, where to produce, who to do business with is determined by the number of shares CEOs have. The person uh, or people with the most shares make the company decisions. That's true. That is very, very true. Um, and Yeah, and let's see, where do we go? Okay, so I think I'm not sure how many more stories I have, but this is one that I thought was interesting. Zack Snyder's Justice League trailer was removed from YouTube. That's wild. Um, Zack Snyder's Justice League was removed from Max in Europe, finally, following the trailer removal from YouTube due to music copyright issue. And this is an issue that suddenly came up. Didn't have a problem with Max in the US and maybe some other countries, but for some reason in Europe, it's gone. It's not on the platform at all. And that is very, uh, eyebrow raising, if you will. So why would it be removed from Europe and not here in the United States, not in all of the territories? So that is a question that fans are asking themselves. A lot of us who love the movie is like, people who really, really love the movie probably already have their own copy. Just saying. And there's always the availability of getting it on Amazon, or I think Amazon has a digital version of Justice League. But is very concerning because if you have a Max subscription, that would be one of the main reasons you would want to have it, is so that way you can guarantee that you'll be able to watch the movies that you love on it. And so for them to remove one of those um, their movies really is sort of an eye opener. Like, what are they doing over there? What are they doing over there? And so the U.S. trailer, or the trailer that is on you was on YouTube, had over 31 million views, and so they may have put it on private, or as a private video, um, or I doubt if they totally deleted it completely, but it's possible. It's just kind of wild that they would do something like that. So a lot of eyebrows are raised. A lot of people are scratching their heads trying to figure this out. Um, but no reason was given for the removing of the movie from access to customers in Europe. Very, very sketch, if you ask me. And Brogu is saying some uh, words of wisdom. I'm only coming to understand this now, which is really sad, but I was trying to give a new medium a chance. Brogu says this is why physical media is the way to go, and it is. And so um, I, at some point, had a whole bunch of videotapes and on VHS, and still have a lot. Some of them I threw away because they were on poorly recorded devices, and some of them I probably will never have a VCR again or be able to play these tapes. That's fine. I have the memory of the boxes, so I am keeping them for that purpose. However, I never did get into disc, never got into DVDs, never did get into Blu-ray. And so I'm trying to like figure out like what I should do, if I should try to rebuild my library of movies to be I know it's old fashioned to use the DVDs, and it's better to do Blu-ray because it looks better and all that. Um, Please guys, tell me your opinion on, should a person do both, DVD and Blu-ray, or a mixture of both, or should a person just do Blu-ray? I know there's a lot of people who replace their entire collections with Blu-ray. And these people had already had substantial collections with um, of DVDs. So let me know what you guys think. And uh, um, let's just look at box office really quickly, because I thought this was incredibly interesting. Um, Mission Impossible is doing very well. Did very well. This is from the weekend. Um, it's doing really well, and I think from what I've been hearing from people, it's a really good movie. Mikey Lito, did you see this one in the theaters? What did you think if you did see this? Um, Sound of Freedom is one of the most interesting of all of these choices here because it's a movie that received a lot of criticism online or and in the news. And I think what these guys really didn't know was that uh, they were uh, actually promoting the movie as they were trying to get people to not watch the movie. They were actually promoting it, and which is kind of a wild concept. Like, hey, all of this negative press. Oh, guess what? It's made this a thing now. So it's doing very well at the box office, and um, it is doing gangbusters for this Angel Studios, and so I really want to follow that story very closely. Then we have Insidious: The Red Door. Had poor reviews, but I think a lot of fans just wanted to see a horror movie this weekend, and they went out to see that movie. It has quite the following, and so um, it is one of those movies that people felt like at least they had to see because it was part of the franchise. Then we have Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Really, really sad that it is number 4 on the list. In another universe, this would be number 1 and holding strong. But it is it is really I think a lot of people are going to see it just because of nostalgia, just to see what's going on. What is the big hoopla about? And unfortunately it's doing a terrible job for Disney at this point. Elemental is another Disney film that also has been doing very poorly at the box office as well. Managed to only get 125 million for this movie. That's uh, really shocking. And oh, back to the Indiana Jones has only made so far 45 million dollars, which doesn't even touch the budget at all. It's not even close to making the budget, and we're not even gonna go and to the area of like marketing and all the other costs that they have to go through before there's even a profit. So that movie really, whew, the public was not kind to Indiana Jones, and that was because of the problems that everybody could see in the trailer. At least I myself saw several problems right in the trailer, and it didn't even cross my mind to even bother to see it. And like I said, I'm not gonna make it a priority to stream it either. And Spider-Man Across the Universe is doing very well, still going after being out there for so many weeks. It is now at 368 million. That's great. Great news for that movie. Um, People are loving it. They adore that movie. Adore it. Transformers, not doing very well either. I mean, all of these movies are just doing so poorly. They should be doing a lot better. Uh, and they're all costing so much money. They're all costing so much money. And no hard feelings. That one is really um, another one. It really wasn't supposed. I don't think it was really supposed to make a lot of money, but it's from the reviews from a lot of people, they what I'm hearing is that No Hard Feelings had funny moments, but it's a certain type of humor, and sometimes you know some audience people didn't enjoy it as much. There were some people who were rolling, laughing. at this one, but uh, the premise itself for me is where I have the biggest problem. Um, of, the idea of an older woman, um, even though it's not about her seducing this guy, but it's in the idea of it. It just kind of feels like it's outdated. And uh, if the roles were reversed, that she was a man and uh, the youngster was a woman, it would have a different result. And I don't like thinking about it. It's like this seems really weird of a concept to me. Then Joyride. I've heard a lot of good things about it. It's a low budget film. I want to see that whenever if it comes to streaming, or if I had the ability to go to a theater, I would go see Joyride. Looks really interesting. And Little Mermaid is holding on to the last little bit. I think they're creeping over their budget, but they're still not even close to making the uh, the marketing. So they're going to have to depend on other sales. And we talked about the other sales that they're having, which is the movie memorabilia, the toy sales. They're the physical media probably once it's out, but at this point they're just barely cutting it even, if at all, if at all. Um, and I believe this should be the last slide. Let's see. Yes, this is the last slide, guys. We went through the whole thing. Let's see what you guys have to say. Let me remove this baby. Let's see. Grogu says, get yourself a Blu-ray player. That way, when you buy Blu-rays and CDs, they will play both in the player. Okay. So, okay. I'm gonna put that on my wish list. And guys, I'm I'm putting together like a little wish list for my. Somebody suggested it, and I was like, really? You can do that on Amazon? So I'm gonna put together like a little wish list and start putting it um, in the description, and I'll let you know when I put it in there. Remind me if probably do it next. Probably like maybe today, maybe today if I have time. And yes, okay, so Blu-ray. Okay, thank you, Mike Lito. Yes, I did see it, but wouldn't necessarily be the person to ask. I did a review on my channel last Friday. Okay. Um, guys, get over to Mikey Lito's channel and watch his reviews. He does reviews for all the latest movies that are coming out. Um, and Mikey Lito says, "Let's say I had a different reaction than others." Thank you for being kind. I'm a contrarian. Indiana Jones was fine. Yeah. Um, I mean, I have criticisms about the trailer. I don't know if I can hang in there more than. I mean, it's one thing like if you don't like you watch something you don't like it, but I'm already having problems with the trailer, so um, I'm gonna have to just suspend my disbelief on a lot of things. And Sean Holmes says, Mondragon means little person within it. That means toilets has an equal say on how the company runs, like CEO, which is different to how other companies unconnected to Mondragon operate. Eh, by the way, Sean, thank you very much for the education on Mondragon, uh, because I did not know about this or was aware of this particular term, and it's really good to learn new things. So really appreciate that, Sean Holmes. You are coming in with information, and that makes me happy. Thank you. And Mikey Lito says, uh, "Are there any U.S. affiliates of Mondragon Team?" Um, and Sean answers, according to Wiki, Mondragon is subsidiaries in China, France, Poland, Czech Republic, uh, Mexico, Brazil, Germany, Italy, and United Kingdom, Romania, and the United States. Okay. And Keith E says in the 60s, one organization would put out a list of movies and books you should not see or read. My father would get the list, and that became his watching and reading list. Interesting. Interesting. Cool. I mean, it's like advertising, right? Really? Like you tell people, don't watch this. Don't watch it. Don't watch it. Okay? Don't watch it. It's really that simple. People, um, it's psychology. We're we're easy to hack. And he's specific. Uh, saying Mikey Lito Live is the channel. Okay, let me see if I can get a link for the channel. YouTube. Aha, I got it. Copy link address. I'm gonna put it in the chat for you guys. Um, just let me know if this is the right and this is the right link. Because I think I just tried it and it worked, but just want to make sure. Okay. Okay. And Maggie says, here's the thing, Indiana Jones movies have Indiana Jones tropes. I don't see what the big deal is. Yeah. I mean, I get your point of view. And for me, I like those tropes a lot. Uh, I don't know what to say about the trailer. Mikey Lito also, the man is 80. He's old. We old people are cranky, so no big surprise there either. And and there's the link. Hopefully, and like Mikey says, yes, that's it. And it says my reviews are very different. I'm not a professional, so please be kind. Yes, always be kind, but I think that they're really good at they're coming from your point of view, and I think it's very important to I don't know, I listen to everybody and then I make up my own mind. I mean, I will listen to what people say because I like hearing what other people have to say about things. I don't know if you notice like how I kind of say, this movie, this is what a lot of people said about it. I kind of aggregate like in my mind what other people say about a movie, and then I also have my own opinions, which is separate to what other people think. And it's so important to keep that separate because I think sometimes when people hear one person say something, the natural response is to just repeat it. But I always say, um, keep your, be you, be you, be you. Always be you. And Mikey Lito says, you know my motto, watch content, form opinion. Yes, that's Mikey Lito's really awesome um, motto that I think it works for, for everything. Like I can't make the opinion on make an opinion on the movie of Indiana Jones because unless I'm like gonna say something where it's like, if somebody asks me, "Why do you think that failed?" I do have an idea of I have a thought, an idea of why I think that failed. But I would love to see the movie before I make any comments about acting, the script, all that stuff. I got to be able to see the movie before I make a concept about that. I may see it and say, you know what, this is actually not that bad. That's the other thing that could happen when you watch a movie that everybody says is terrible. You might be like, wait a minute, I'm really enjoying this. And there are so many movies like that I've watched that are like that other people hate, and I just enjoy. It makes me smile, and I understand the place in which these movies were created from. And I'm definitely not a snob. Like, I'm definitely not somebody who needs to have a perfect movie in order to find enjoyment out of a movie. Um, I think it's very important uh, to definitely like watch the content first before you criticize it up and down. But I can definitely tell you the reason why I'm having a problem with indie, just watching it, just going, getting through the door. Like the meeting, watch content first, and then form your own opinion. Yes, and like he says, it's common these days for people to hear other people's opinions and adopt it for their own. Yes, I mean, I think listening to other people's opinions is very important, but definitely remembering your own voice and all of that. Because I know a lot of people who watch my stuff, they don't agree with everything I say, or every movie I love is not the same list of movies that they love. But I'm always very honored that they, indulge me a little to go off the rails every once in a while about Terminator. And Keith E says, Miguelito, you have a new guy and his hippopotamus watching your channel. Oh, that's so awesome. Keith E is joining the ranks um, of Mikey Lito fans. And Mikey Lito says, well, thanks, Keith. And feel free to leave an opinion in the comments. I read all of the comments. So awesome. Um, yeah, you guys, I'm so glad that you're uh, joining up. Oh, and Brogu also has joined to check out your content. That's really awesome. Really awesome. Thanks, guys. Well, guys, it has been 3 hours and 30 minutes. Wow, what a show. It was long. I got passionate about a lot of things, and I, again, am so um, humble and happy that you guys allow me to like go go on and on about these topics. And it's really nice of you. Thank you for indulging me. And it's really um, my pleasure to be here. I am going to close things out. Let's see. Mikey Lito says, thanks. That's not why I came here. I love Retro Nerd Girl and her channel and opinions. Oh, thank you so much. That is so sweet. Uh, that is so nice. Thank you. And I'm getting teary-eyed, guys. I'm gonna start leaking. Katie says, "Gosh darn, bro, good. Going to be there. Yes, and and long haul choo choo. Uh, and and Katie says, "Who's retro nerd girl?" Ah, gosh. All right. Yes. So I'm closing things up now. I have that closing video that is about 3 minutes long, but it will give you a chance to be able to say goodbye to the friends that you have in the chat and the friends that we made today. Also, I wanted to say again how it's been just awesome to be able to chat with you guys today. And this is great. If you guys have any messages for me, please leave them in the comments. Any last messages and comments? So let me see if I can find it. Without further ado, guys, I bid you adieu, and I'll see you in the next video. The next video will be Thursday. No, sorry, it's Friday. Friday we'll be doing um, some further talks on Canon films, and later on today you can catch me on Lord Necron's channel talking about drive-in movies with Mikey Sutton, and we have uh, a watch party this weekend, and it will be Spaceballs. So I'll see you in one of those videos. Take care. Bye.
Retro Nerd Girl, you are clear for takeoff.